name's Mary. I'm not a sister wife. I'm not nervous about the questions because I'm confident in like who I am and what my answers are or what my conversations are going to be. You know, people are going to say what they're going to say.
The first half of the 4-part Sister Wives tell-all was shown last night, and I went in with no hope that I could possibly be angrier at Kody and Robin than I already was. Well, surprise. I was mistaken. They found a way to be even more infuriating. Wait until you hear what really happened behind the scenes, though. Apparently, Kody and Robin also fought hard on film. They were obstinate, argumentative, and even downright rude at times. Kody came hot-headed and defensive, yelling, denying culpability, and dodging responsibility like his job. He even admitted on TV that he usually says 5 different things before he determines which one will be the truth. Translation? He's really confessing to rewriting history and making everyone else own their sins. Hypocrisy much? But even that isn't the juiciest bit. Wait until you hear what Mary spilled. In an unusual moment of honesty, Mary did talk up and explained that this was the first tell-all she had ever been to without making things up. She said it literally. My mask is off. And you can't help but think, if she's only now deciding to tell the truth, how many times have these cast members lied to protect the storyline? If the lies have been piling up for years, how do we even begin to sort fact from fiction? And then there's Robin, who once again refused to go all in. She flatly refused to watch any of the footage from the season with the host, Sukanya. That's correct. No watching scenes of Kody with the other wives, no seeing scenes between herself and Kody, nothing. She bailed, straight up. And Kody, of course, had long since made it clear that he was going to protect her from the tough stuff. Translation: Robin gets a bye, again. Let's talk about that first question. Suki asked everyone, what was the title of their season movie? Kody said, Point Break. Mary said Wild. Christine said, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Janelle said, Fried Green Tomatoes. And Robin? She wouldn't even answer. She wasn't spoken to, and even if she were spoken to, would she have answered? Extremely doubtful. Her refusal to answer on her part is ear-piercing. And here's something that actually made the whole thing feel just slightly off. No mention whatsoever was made of Garrison's death. The tell-all would not confront it, which is maybe their prerogative to maintain privacy, but left an odd stillness in the air. What we did get instead was more of Kody doing what he does best, spinning the story. In Kody's new account of things, he said he was the one who chose to break things off with Janelle. But longtime viewers know that wasn't exactly how it went down. His effort to make himself out to be the one who initiated the breakup is just another installment in his own personal do-over of history. And then there was the part that skeeved me out. Kody telling us why he liked Robin better. He said that there was something special about her, something he didn't have with the rest of the women. He said she had good communication, good self-esteem, and treated him very well. Let's analyze that, shall we? What Kody is really stating is that Robin learned early on how to massage his ego. She understood exactly what to say, how to behave, and what to push his buttons in order to get what she wanted. She evoked his worst traits, his narcissism, his temper, his jealousy, and he rewarded her with loyalty and protection at the expense of his other wives. Robin became the woman who always spoke up for Kody, no matter how much at fault he was. She rationalized his behavior, glossed over his mistakes, and made him believe he was the perfect man. And for that, Kody tried to make all the other wives emulate her, or else. It was no longer about balance or fairness. It was about molding the family into what Robin wanted. Let's go deep into the jaw-dropping turmoil that is Kody Brown's thinking. Buckle up, folks, because his last few comments weren't only upsetting, they were flabbergastingly revealing. As Kody describes, the secret sauce to his connection with Robin is this. She verbally praises him constantly, compliments him on how great a guy he is, and, his words, not mine, basically kisses his butt. And then, because he likes how he feels about himself when he's around her, he wants to spend time. But come to think of it, that's not love. That's narcissistic stimulation. What he's describing isn't a profound connection. It's emotional manipulation wrapped in flattery. Robin, inside Kody's reality, is the ideal wife because she communicates. What he's really expressing when you translate Kody speak is she learns how to get around by massaging his ego. She manipulates him into thinking that her desires are his own thoughts, and Kody devours it because she never calls him out for being less than, unlike his other wives who had the audacity to complain. Now here's one for Kody. If Christine was never satisfied, why didn't you ever try to satisfy her? Why not ask her what she needed? Oh, right. Because in Kody's world, it's not all about mutual effort and trying to understand the other person. It's about maintaining the illusion that he's perfect. The truth is, Kody never had this strong chemistry with Robin. What he did have was a woman who played the game better than he did. Early on, Robin understood that if she stroked his ego, he would do anything for her. That is not chemistry, it's control. And quite simply, she just outsmarts him. Even Janelle, who tends to keep things measured, implied Kody wasn't clever enough to orchestrate some of the manipulation we've seen. The suggestion? Robin might be the real puppeteer behind the curtain. Let that sink in. And let's talk about Mary for a moment. Because even after all she went through, she gained a lot of respect in this tell-all. More than I expected, if I'm being honest. On the other hand, Kody spent most of the interview shirking responsibility, especially regarding Christine. Christine, the woman who had borne him 6 children, was reduced in his words to someone who made a good meal. That's all. That's how he diminished her. No word of her sacrifices, her motherhood, or her humanity. Only a cook who had been fertile. It's sickening. How do you spend years with a person, build a family, and then reduce them to nothing in a single sentence? It begs the question, why are we still pretending that this was ever about polygamy in the first place? Why is anyone still selling this narrative that Kody was trying to make multiple relationships work? The reality is, the moment Robin appeared, Kody abandoned the rest behind, emotional, mental, and ultimately, physically. Let's call it like it is. Kody didn't practice the values of plural marriage. He used his marital and spiritual authority like armor. He was treated like royalty in their faith, a prophet-type leader who didn't have to work to gain respect because it accrued to him automatically. And when any of the wives ever criticized, he just ran to Robin, the one who wouldn't chide him. Kody has admitted it himself. He adored being adored. He liked being the center of everything and everyone else orbiting around him. And as soon as that dynamic changed, he tuned out. It was never a matter of forming healthy, respecting marriages. It was a matter of power, ego, and having women fawn over him so he could feel like a god. And yet he gaslights everyone, audience, producers, and wives, pretending that his family's ruin was not his doing. He refuses to acknowledge that he left the rest of them for Robin. Why can't he just be truthful about it? Why can't he look into the camera and say, yes, I chose Robin. I left the others behind? That would be at least an honest thing to do. Rather, he continues this cycle of deceit. having the discarded wives clean up the emotional wreckage. Christine offered him her youth, her body, her loyalty, and he reduced her to a cook. Janelle was sensible and loyal, but discarded. Mary, in spite of her pain, continued to struggle to believe the best. And through it all, Robin sat quietly, having the story skew in her favor. At what point do we stop expecting Kody to change? He won't. He never will. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we start rewarding these women not for having survived his abuse, but for having escaped from it. And then there's this other lie. This shiny, brand new packaged narrative Kody and Robin brought to the tell-all as some divine truth, that their relationship is so spiritual, so sacred, that Kody had a desire for all of the wives to share that same connection. Except here's the thing, it's a fabrication, not even close. That whole benevolent and divine relationship. Nonsense? Just another cop-out, another thread of gaslighting. What Kody truly wanted was for the other wives to be Robin 2.0. Speak sweetly, never challenge him. Rub his ego, and for goodness sake, do not challenge his authority like Robin. He did not want communication. He wanted submissiveness. He wanted obedience and adoration disguised as partnership. When Kody speaks of being a good communicator, he means kiss my butt, lie to me, enable me, use sex to manipulate you into doing what you're supposed to do. But after first delivering what I want, that's not a relationship. That's emotional servitude. And Robin? She's fine with it. She's totally fine with this sick little game where everyone's measured against her. And when they always fall short, that's not her fault, not Kody's fault, always somebody else's fault. Never does she even see that maybe, just maybe, their whole relationship is founded on manipulation, not love. But here's the contradiction that runs deeper. Polygamy, as they've sold it for years, isn't individual relationships. It's not about Kody and Robin or Kody and Christine. It's Kody and the family. One unit. That's what they've taught. Now suddenly it's about pairing off and favoring one relationship over the others? That completely undermines the entire foundation they claim to stand on. And it exposes something bigger, that Kody never really believed in the ideal of unity. He believed in control. And what about the other wives? Mary said it perfectly. I'm not Robin. I'm Mary. And she's right. Why should anyone erase themselves to fit into Robin's mold? Why should a woman who's been with you 30 years, who's seen your weaknesses, your shortfalls, your disinterest, suddenly behave as though all of that never happened? It's easy to be open-mouthed and starry-eyed when you weren't present through the poverty, the job insecurity, the absent fathering. Robin came along after the chaos, and she took all the rewards without paying the price. That's not love. That's luck and timing. And then the conversation turns to Mary's divorce according to law. Honestly, it's baffling. Why are we still breaking this down? But here we are. Christine believes it was Robin who planted the thought in Kody's head. And for real? I believe so. We actually have actual video of Robin pestering Kody about adoption. She told him that if the kids weren't legally his, he couldn't have them live with him past a certain age. But in order to adopt them, he would need to marry her. So what does he do? He divorces Mary. Robin, of course, denies it now. She insists she never pushed for it, never planted those seeds. But the receipts are on tape. It's there. And behind the scenes? Everybody knew. Whispers weren't subtle. Robin wanted Kody to choose her over Mary. And he did eventually. And to insult and betray, Kody has the temerity to blame the demise of his marriage with Mary on the catfishing scandal. But all anyone who's been following this knows is the truth. He'd already left her emotionally and physically long before that. The scandal didn't break them down. His abandonment did. So Kody is trying to spin this as though he was the victim of catfishing. Like, that's what dissolved the marriage. But come on, the marriage died. He'd already physically and emotionally checked out. And then, having abandoned Mary, he has the temerity to say, well, she got catfished, and that's when everything ended. No, Kody, you ended it way before that. You just needed a reason. Now he's saying, Mary questions the divorce only now due to what her friends are telling her? That they've seeded these ideas within her? Again, typical Kody. Never any responsibility. And what about Christine? She thinks this was the start of the demise of the whole family. Janelle concurs and speaks for all of us. There is no way in the world that Kody came up with that divorce scheme by himself. Someone else was behind the strings. And all fingers point to Robin. As reported by Christine and Janelle, Robin played the situation at the back and intimidating Kody into divorcing Mary, then making Mary believe it was her idea. Gaslighting textbook. And Kody? He was more than happy to play along. And now that Mary has someone in her life other than him, that drives him crazy. He whines literally that she's from friend to friend to friend, detailing what happened. Translation: Mary's not his anymore, and he hates it. That little line where she tells us that church leaders informed her that she was abandoned? He replies, fine, I don't care. But it's clear he does care. He simply doesn't want to deal with the reality. And the reality is, she was abandoned. But instead of owning that responsibility, he blames her friends, blames them for gaslighting her, tells her she's being deceived about what actually occurred. Abuser talk, isolate, discredit, control. And Robin? She just shrugs and says, well, they have different opinions. Like she hasn't been deeply invested in this marriage for over 15 years. Actually stated once that she could speak Kody, as if she was the translator of him and the other wives, inserted herself into all circumstance, called herself a mediator, acted like she knew Kody better than them. But now that this has gone boom, she's suddenly impartial, suddenly detached. She even refuses Kody abandoned Mary alone, despite saying to the camera she wouldn't blame Mary if she left because Kody clearly didn't want to be with her. Like, what in he never comes to her home isn't abandonment? And remember that whole spiritual release drama. The church didn't suddenly release Mary. They did it because she insisted on it, because she spoke up. Robin tries to turn it around like, oh, they disagreed. But again, revisionist history. Robin was under their marriage for years. She was the one pushing for divorce so they could adopt. The one who said she could make the difference. Now she insists. It's between them. Like she didn't have a hand in breaking it. And that catfishing debacle? Robin had a lot to do with it. It wasn't a far-off scandal that she vicariously observed. She was front and center, ramping up the pressure, fueling the story, playing both sides. At the end of the day, all Kody and Robin had to do was admit the truth. They fell in love, they left the family, and they made everyone else pretend it wasn't happening. Instead, 15 years later, we're still stuck in this loop of blame, denial, and half-truths. Because narcissists never admit fault. They rewrite the past, shift the blame, and keep everyone spinning. And let's not forget this. Robin knew about the catfishing. She was involved. She was communicating with the catfish herself at the time. There are still people out there, myself included, who aren't sure she didn't make it happen. Yeah, I said it. The entire catfish soap opera? It started in a Facebook group aligned with Robin. That drama did not arise out of thin air. It was cultivated out of her circle. Now she wants to play like it's just between Kody and Mary? That they disagree about what transpired? No, Robin. You played a part in creating these issues, and Mary was left behind? Please. Kody was present? Robin, you're crazy. Easy for you to say now. Wait till he dumps you. Seriously, how does she sleep at night? How does this woman look at Kody and tell him, yeah, that's the man I want? How does she rationalize this? Because if he did it to them, he'll do it to you. In fact, I'd bet he already does. The lies that these two are constructing? Next level. Just bald-faced, naked lies. And yet, somehow, nobody at TLC is holding them accountable for it. They're not forced to admit. They're not confronted. Meanwhile, the women who left are relived everything. They're re-traumatized on TV, while their abusers simply sit there and lie about it like nothing occurred. It's disgusting. Come on? These women need to be away from this show. They need peace. They need freedom. And they need not get dragged back into this trash as Kody and Robin recreate history in front of the entire country. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. Leave your comments down below. Hit that like button if this video tugged at your heartstrings. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Ring the bell so that you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.